our final episode of the year. I'm really excited to have you and talk about all of the accomplishments this year, and I am extremely, extremely grateful for what I've been able to accomplish this year, thanks to you all. So first, Happy New Year's, as you can see on my hat. I want to talk about some of the accomplishments I was able to make this year. So first, I had my first gala for my nonprofit, khloe Cares, that raised funds for a hygiene vending machine. That gala was our first gala. We're going to do it annually now. It was really great. It was a lot of fun. It was a great day. We raised all the funds that we needed for our hygiene vending machine, and it gives hygiene products to people who need them through a vending machine. And then I was able to be a part of the T-Mobile Changemaker Challenge. So it's a challenge with T-Mobile where they brought in kids all over the U.S. For their ideas that could help change the world. So I was a part of that with one of my good friends, Shaquille. This year, I also started doing college courses. I became a dual enrollment student. That was a great experience. I'm going to continue doing it. I was able to push through with good grades this year with that. It was a tough time, but I made it through. I was very happy about that. I was a part of a podcast called Young, Gifted, and Woke. It was a virtual series where I talk with influential Black people about different things like social justice and just what they do, really. You guys should go listen to that. It's a great podcast. That was a lot of fun to do. Let's see, what else was I able to do? I was able to ship out barrels that went out to Ghana this year. I did a lot of those with different school supplies, essential items like clothes and like just toothbrushes, toothpaste, things like that. And even Christmas gifts this year, towards the end of the year, they were able to have holiday gifts. So that was also a lot of fun to be able to do and be able to give people those. And then I also, towards beginning-ish of this year, I was able to have a Project Cares event with one of my good friends, Jaquil. And Project Cares is our two organizations, Project I Am and khloe Cares, put together. And we do packing parties and different events with each other every time he comes out here because he's from Chicago. So that was some of my accomplishments this year. And now I really want to look back at our past episodes because we were able to do a lot of episodes this year. It has been a great year with all these episodes. So I'm going to go through all the episodes, do a bit of a recap about what we did. First, our first episode was My New Show. So in that episode, I talked about this show, the new show coming out, and then I revealed, and I reviewed Sanjali MD and her facial wash and her other facial products because I was using that at the time. Her salicylic acid facial cleanser. I had to read that one, so I got it right. So I got to review that and talk about how well it works on my face and on my skin, and really just talking about the importance of skincare that day. That was my first episode. That was a lot of fun. The next episode, which is our second episode, was I love fashion. In that episode, I talked all about fashion. As you guys know, I want to become a fashion designer when I get older, and so doing the very corny saying, fashion is my passion, is something that I was able to talk about. I was able to talk about fashion, my college plans with fashion, so being able to go to Parsons University, where they have a fashion school, a fashion department in New York, and they're one of the main fashion schools out there. And so I really want to go there, and I've been able to work with Parsons before. And then I was able to talk about fashion trends, so the different fashion trends that are going on now, the 90s fashion trends are coming back, all of those things. And then we got to talk about my Fab Fashion Style File, which was the book that I went over by one of my FIT teachers that I did during their summer classes. And it was her book, and it's a really informative book, and it's all about really just the tips and tricks of fashion and just ways to start out on drawing and things of those such. And it just gives you tips and tricks in there as well. And then our next episode after that was about mental health. So we had, in our mental health episode, we talked about the Olympics and mental health, and Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka about their mental health and how a lot of things were happening during the Olympics, how some people had to step out, and how just mental health was like our main priority again during the Olympics. So again, I feel like we should get a claps to them and all of their endeavors that they were able to do in the Olympics, and just being able to put their mental health first. And then we went into our book review with Khloe's Library, and we did Bad Girls Throughout History, which was 100 Remarkable Girls Who Changed the World. That book is all about, like its name, Bad Girls Throughout History. So it just talks about a bunch of different women and girls in the world that are doing some awesome bad things, more so of doing things that some people may not agree on, but are really changing the world. And then we went into I Love Music. I really love music. I listen to Spotify. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but I have my record player behind me. I love music. I love it so much. We talked about Spotify, and then we talked about TikTok influencers and becoming more popular when it comes to music. And I feel like, again, I'm going to talk about this again, that I feel like all of these trained musicians that have trained for years should also be able to have the spotlight than someone through TikTok, where they're just coming out of TikTok and then they make music, and because of TikTok it became big. I feel like the people who have been like putting their life and soul into this should be able to be the ones to be like get all of what they need from their music, because me personally, I prefer the ones that have taken the time out. Goodness gracious. But yeah, that was our other topic, and it was really just talking about music. Then we had another episode where we talked about college, coming back in here. As you know, I'm a dual enrollment student. I talked about this in my accomplishments this year. So we talked about how I'm a dual enrollment student, the college that I'm at, the new school, like I said, the college I want to go to, Parsons, and really talking about colleges, like the different colleges I want to go to. Like, why is it now important to think about it now? Like me, I'm a freshman. So I think it's important now to be talking about colleges so that I can know that all the things that I do now will affect me later when it comes to school. So learning about colleges and learning about my top scholarships and things like that have been really important too. What else? And then we did a book review. We did Making Trouble, or is it Make Trouble? Making Trouble? Make Trouble? One of those two. I think it's Making Trouble, and it's the Young Readers Edition. That book is one of my top books right now. I love that book so much. I was so happy I was able to do a book review on it. All the books I'm saying, again, I'm going to say these again, I will recommend it to everybody to read these books. Again, it's one of my favorite books. It talks about this lady, and she grew up when it came to political, like her mom was always doing things politically. Her daughter ended up helping with Hillary Clinton and her presidency, and her running for president, I should say. And then our next episode after that was podcasts. So we talked about podcasts that teens should listen to. You guys should go check out that episode if you're looking for a new podcast to listen to. We listed some great podcasts for teens, whether it was business, just listening to something, some mental health. I think we talked about a few podcasts that just had a different variety. And then our book review for that day was I Am Malala. Again, one of my top books, top 2 with Making Trouble. It's one of my favorite books. It's about the story of Malala and just her amazing story. I recommend for you to read it if you want to be inspired. It's a heartwarming story. It makes you cry and makes you laugh. It's a beautiful story of her life. Her life, wow. It just makes you go wow. Our next episode again was shoes, and more shoes. That was our episode. We talked about kinetic sandals, which I own, which are these really chunky sandals. They're really cute. Air Jordan 1s, which I want to own. I don't own them yet. I will get some. And that trend, we were talking about Doc Martens. I still have yet to own, and I need to get some. Nike Blazers, I own a pair of those. Mary Janes, again, need to buy those. And Converse. I have a wide variety of Converse. Converse are one of my favorite shoes. And I wear them daily. And it's the shoes that I wear all the time. So those were our shoes, and talking about how these shoe trends, whether they're coming back, whether we like them, do we not like them, really was going with that type of vibe with our shoes. And then for that day with our book review, we talked about Shakespeare. I am really into Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. I recommended Anthony and Cleopatra. That is a really good love story book. It's like the more olden timey Romeo and Juliet. It's a lot more olden timey than that, okay? And then after that was our social media challenges. This one was something that we really, really, really needed to talk about. First, we talked about the Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm sure we all remember this. The Ice Bucket Challenge was a fun trend. I sadly was not a part of it. We had the 10-year challenge. That was a cool challenge. We had the mannequin challenge. We had the pillow challenge that happened during the pandemic. And then, lastly, this name always makes me laugh, the Devious Licks Challenge. I do not condone that challenge and what comes with it. I really would appreciate if you guys do not participate in that trend. Luckily, it's quite dead now, which I'm very happy about because I think the things that were happening within it were not very good. And for this episode, we brought in our music library. So we moved from our book library into our book review into our music library. So this one we had Prom Queen by Beach Bunny. Oh my gosh, I sing this on a daily. We had Stargazing by Neighborhood. It's all these songs are playing in my head. It's so much fun. It's a great song just to dance around in. I play this whenever I want to dance. Morning Sunrise by Weldon Irvine. Oh, Chef's Kiss. Oh my goodness gracious. It's a great song. And then we have Homecoming. This topic and this one came up because I had my first homecoming this year. And I really wanted to go over the different trends and dresses. So we went from prom dresses, and we also talked about some homecoming dresses from David's Bridal, MacDougall, JJ's House, and then we also talked about homecoming shoe trends. Like for me, during my homecoming, I wore Converse. I wore some platform Converse, so I had a bit of height, but I also wasn't wearing heels because I'm not a very heelsy type of gal. I don't really like wearing heels. So I got to wear Converse and tennis shoes, and I love that people are now wearing tennis shoes with their dresses, like whether they're going to homecoming or prom or wherever. And then, again, we had our music library. We had She by Harry Styles. We had Successful by Ariana Grande and Loverboy by AWOL. These all are beautiful songs that I love so much. And then our last segment of today will be our recap of 2021 Good Vibes stories. So we had Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka. We had our mental health. We had where we talked about mental health again. And then we had us talk about Sammy Vance, and she was the recipient of the Power of Children Award, and I really wanted to acknowledge her because she was able to get that award. We had Benjamin Wong, one of my good friends. He has the Young Trep podcast, and I wanted to really acknowledge his podcast as well. We had Chelsea Charity, one of my good friends as well. All of these are a lot of my good friends. She donates art supplies to children's for social coping skills. And then we have Adora's Heart. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. I'm sorry if I butchered that. And she has a podcast inspiring young people to be themselves. And then lastly, during Thanksgiving times and Turkey Day times, as people like to say as well, we celebrated the Los Angeles Mission, and we talked about their assisting homeless individuals with their mission and with their homeless shelter there. And they always host a Thanksgiving event. And so I was really happy to be able to acknowledge all of these people this year and share their stories and all that they're doing. Again, I want to say thank you all for joining me this episode, and I hope to see you again someday. Thank you for all of the support you gave me this year, and I really appreciate you all. And bye!